You know, growing up, I struggled with dyslexia really bad. The fact of me reading out loud scared the living day crap out of me. Just, you know, just the whole idea of just school in general as a kid was very hard for me growing up. And in order for me to overcome this embarrassment that I felt, I started to act out, giving my teachers hell, arguing with kids in class, fighting after class for no good reason at all. Just because I didn't want to do the work because it was too hard. And when I realized that I can do the work, but I just have to put in twice as the effort as everybody else was giving, it became a challenge to me because I didn't want to feel like I was dumb. I didn't want people to think I was dumb neither. So I would just work hard and try my best to get to the level that they was at. So if somebody was reading at an eighth grade level, I legitimately had to like go to summer school, take extra school outside of the school that I was going to. Shout outs to my mom because she's the one who put me through those schoolings and get to that level. So when the next year roll around, I'm finally reading at an eighth grade level. But these people that I was trying to compare myself to, they was already off to the next thing. They reading at a high school level, while I'm still reading at a grade school level, which was fine because my school was nowhere near challenging people the way that these schools challenge people nowadays. So I didn't realize that dyslexia was about to become my superpower because I was always looking at it as it was something that was going to hold me down. Let me explain. So all those struggles that I faced early on was back when I was in grade school, middle school. By the time I hit high school, it was a whole nother playing field. I was like out doing Lord knows what. You know what I'm saying? I was like really figuring it out. Like this when computers started becoming a major part of the assignments and things of that nature, and I discovered read back to me type of things. So like if I was having problems reading a certain chapter inside the book, some smart person decided to read the whole book and upload it on YouTube. Shout out to YouTube. So now I'm sitting at home trying to figure out how to do this work and to read this book or anything like that. I'm just listening to it off of YouTube as I follow along and write my assignments and everything else. And it helped me retain all this information. So when we had to go, present this stuff in the classroom, or the teacher want to talk about it as a group, I'm able to recite things from the book because I listened to it. And it did wonders for me. So I was able to fix a problem that I was having with reading and or reading jargon that I just did not understand because YouTube allowed me to do so. Now, the other things that it wound up helping me out with become one of my superpowers was that I knew that I had to work hard. And that translated to everything that I did in my life. So no matter what the situation was, I worked it 10 times harder than the next person. So if we was out doing some drawing and I see somebody doing better than me, oh, I'm finna work 10 times harder to work on my flaws. So if I wasn't good at hair, oh yeah, I'm finna work 10 times good on here. So when it's time for us to show off our work together, you be like, damn, I can't believe that you got your hair better than mine when my hair was looking better than yours 2 days ago. Yeah, because I worked 10 times harder to get it done. Especially when it came down to you know, yard work or things of that nature. When I was growing up, my mom, she didn't want to pay nobody to cut the grass or do the landscape or stuff like that around the house, so she made me and my siblings do it. So we would work our tails off, but as we would work and we was just going about it the traditional ways and things of that nature, I started looking at ways to get things done quicker, but get the same effort. So we ain't cutting corners, but we finna get this stuff done quicker because I want to go in the house. I want to jump on the PlayStation. I want to relax. It's hot out. It's the summertime. Let's go ahead and get this over with. So what I wind up doing is sometimes I wake up earlier, right? Not too early because I don't want the neighbors mad at me because I'm outside cutting the grass at 6 o'clock in the morning. So instead of waiting until the afternoon when the sun is beating down and it's hot as hell out, I'll come outside around like 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock, sometimes 8 o'clock. The earliest I think I ever did was 7:30 because I heard somebody else getting their lawnmower going at 7:30. But I would go wake up early, get the stuff done, and beating the sun before it get too hot out. That was one of the little hacks because I realized yo, all I had to do was just cut this part of the yard, this, and this, and this, and it was super shady around this time. So I'll be able to get it done quicker because I'm chilling and I got my music going. I ain't got to worry about the heat, things of that nature. And then when it's time for breaking up leaves and everything else, my mom had an old leaf blower that did not work anymore because of a wiring issue. So I went on YouTube, figured out the wiring thing, grabbed some electrical tape, wrapped that joint up, plugged it in. Lo and behold, it works. So now I was able to get the sidewalks done, the grass cuttings up and stuff like that. And I was back in the house before it was noon. While some of my brother or my sister still had to go do their fair share of the work, but my work was already done. And sometimes I probably do them a favor and just do their stuff too, because it was still early enough where the sun was out, but it wasn't too hot yet. You know what I'm saying? So it became a real big superpower for me because I decided to go ahead and get shit done. I wasn't sitting around waiting for things to happen in my life. You know what I'm saying? And so when I decided to go back to school to become a police officer around about 2020, in my head, I'm like, yo, how the hell I'm gonna do all this with dyslexia? And I wound up going to the school orientation, and it was like, yo, you should, if you have a disability, let us know right up front, and we'll let your teachers know, and we'll make accommodations for you. I'm like, say less. So I told them I had dyslexia, and they put me on to things like Quillbot. They put me onto things like not Chat GPT because they was kind of snooking their nose up at people who was using Chat GPT, but it was more so things like Quillbot and Quizlet to help you study and things of those nature. So that was stuff that I wound up utilizing when I went back to school, and it made going back to school a lot easier for me, you know? And I wound up graduating in the top of my class at one school with a 4.0, and then at the other school when I had to transfer to as a 3.8. So I was literally doing what I needed to do to get things done when I was, dealing with dyslexia going to school. You know, That disability that we always think of can always be our superpower. As you can tell, I'm out in Target right now getting some shopping done with Plant Dad, so getting stuff for my plants. But you know, all these things that I thought that was hindering me as a kid wind up becoming one of the most beautifulest things that happened in my life. It helped me change things out for my career, with me going back to school and me being a dad, even with me tending to plants. It helped me with that as well too, because I'm overcautious. I'm always looking up what's going on, and I'm always trying to find the best thing that's going to help me and my kids along with these plants to thrive. So if you're struggling with any type of disability, don't look at it as something that's going to hold you down. Look at it as something that's going to build you up and push you forward in life. Okay, and that's pretty much all I got for you here. So I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta go. I gotta figure out which plant I'm about today or what type of soil that's gonna help my one of my plants to grow. But other than that, until then, much love.